Hello, here are the morning news. One day after electing its new General Secretary, the Organization of American States convened a special session. Venezuela raised President Barack Obama's recent declaration made against the country. Foreign Minister Delcy Rodriguez said the U.S. executive action labeling Venezuela as a threat to U.S. national security could be a prelude to a military intervention, but top U.S. representatives insisted they are not planning that. However, many Latin American nations share Rodriguez's concern and are asking President Obama to repeal the decree. Our correspondent Alexandra Hall was at the meeting and has this report.
At the special session of the OAS in Washington, Venezuela's Foreign Minister Delcy Rodriguez sounded the alarm to regional allies that U.S. executive actions against Venezuela have historical precedents and could be a first step towards military intervention.
If for such a long time throughout history they have shown us this, we will alert everyone that this is a real threat against Venezuela, against its legitimate government and against its people. This isn't just about 7 officials.
The assets of those officials were frozen on March 9th when President Obama declared Venezuela an unusual and extraordinary threat to U.S. national security. At the OAS on Thursday, member states responded to that action.
The government and people of Venezuela are not a threat to North American power, nor to other states. The historic reality tells us the contrary. Venezuela doesn't have a political strategy of aggression.
The United States, backed by Canada, also responded, arguing that Washington didn't create problems in Venezuela and it won't be the one to solve them.
We hope that as a result of today, there will be a renewed consensus that Venezuela has to solve its own problems, and that the only way we would urge Venezuela to solve its own problems is through respectful dialogue in Caracas.
But words are different from diplomatic action. Allies to Venezuela like Ecuador, Bolivia, and Nicaragua fear that language used in the executive order itself is broad and could eventually be applied to other countries in the region.
This doesn't just cover 7 Venezuelan officials. This could be applied to our countries. Any institution, body, initiative, collaboration linked to the Venezuelan government will end up affected by this executive order.
The OAS isn't the only organization that's met in recent weeks. Members of the Bolivarian Alliance for the Peoples of Our America, or ALBA, have since called on President Obama to revoke the executive actions. That's a request that's expected to be formally proposed at the Summit of the Americas in April. In Washington, Alexandra Hall, Telesur.
In Ecuador, opposition groups call for countrywide marches against the measures that Rafael Correa's government is putting in place to support local producers. In light of the decline in oil prices and a dollarized economy, Ecuador's government placed a temporary tariff on non-essential imports as a way to boost local production. Despite the heavy promotion of the marches in private media, the protests were considerably smaller than organizers expected. President Correa criticized them, saying that they are part of a strategy to undermine progressive governments in Latin America.
Can those people be talked with? Let's not fool ourselves. This is pure politicking. It's a strategy to wear down, of demonstrating forces, an internationally coordinated strategy. Do you think it's coincidental that the same thing happens to Dilma, happens to Maduro, happened to Evo, up until he won election in a landslide? That this is happening to Cristina, even with Michelle Bachelet, all the governments of the left?
Thousands of state workers have held marches across Colombia to protest the government's recently submitted National Development Plan. They say it means cuts and privatizations. Our correspondent Natalia Margarita reports from Bogotá.
Amidst Bogotá's cloudy sky and heavy rain, workers' unions from the public sector marched today to demonstrate against Colombia's National Development Plan that sets the policy framework and budget distribution for the next 4 years.
What this plan reflects is a business opportunity for multinationals, and on the other hand, a denial of rights for the people and for the nation. To cut funds from healthcare and education is strong evidence that this is an anti-patriotic development plan.
Unions have pointed out that as the development plan budget was miscalculated from the beginning, the government ended up cutting funds from basic services and sectors. The plan also appears to deepen the privatization policies that for decades have caused more inequality in the nation.
The plan entirely eliminates the public hospitals of the country, and it also creates something called public-private alliances, which are aimed to give away the public service network to the private sector.
Judicial sector workers that were recently on a 90-day strike also said that the government is yet to present a solution to the financial crisis on the sector, nor creating the proper labor conditions that the judges have been demanding.
The judges are complying with their duties, but not receiving a fair payment. There is no budget for the sector. And for instance, the facilities are all rented.
For Senator Zenén Niño, this crisis is the result of having turned the oil and mining sector into the main driving economy force, while local industry and agriculture were being neglected. Now the drop in international oil prices is naturally affecting the public finances.
This economic catastrophe is a result of having given the country to foreign interests through free trade agreements, through the opening up of economy, and some through surrendering our economy to transnational companies.
The unions have said that today's demonstration comes as a warning, but that if the government keeps on delaying solutions to the evident crisis, the workers will consider starting an indefinite strike. Natalia Margarita, Telesur, Bogotá.
And 2 weeks after erupting, Chile's Villarrica volcano began to show signs of renewed activity Thursday. Thousands were evacuated from the tourist town of Pucón in early March as the volcano sent ash and lava high into the sky. Located some 800 kilometers south of the Chilean capital of Santiago, Villarrica is one of South America's most active volcanoes. During the European Council meeting in Brussels, EU leaders met to discuss Greece's reform plans. Greek Prime Minister Alexis Tsipras requested the meeting, which reportedly went well into the night. European Council President Donald Tusk, German Chancellor Angela Merkel, and European Commission President Jean-Claude Juncker were among those who attended the sideline meeting. Tsipras is continuing to insist that EU leaders agreed to reform plans submitted by this government regarding Greece's debt. And the major soccer club in one of the world's biggest leagues declared bankruptcy Thursday. An Italian court declared Serie A club Parma to be insolvent with its debts reaching over 200 million euros. The club has been sold twice this season, 2 games have been cancelled, and the team's basic costs, such as utilities and player salaries, have not been paid. Parma's president was also arrested Wednesday, along with 21 others, for alleged money laundering and embezzlement. If the team cannot find a buyer, the one-time UEFA Cup winner will be moved to the lowest tier of Italy's soccer league. More on this on our website, telesurtv.net/English. Have a nice weekend.